What's poppin', billionaires gang? How you guys doing? Hope you guys had a very nice and wonderful week like we had on the VIP. Okay guys, so I just want to quickly explain the trades we took. I want to make a recap and also how we dominated Gbpjpy for this week. Man, the result was insane, guys. Was insane. Okay guys, so like I normally teach every morning, like I used to release video to you guys even before all these things happened. If you go back to watch my this week videos that I posted, you will see that I made this same exact analysis for you guys, right? I told you guys to buy around this point, including this one too, right? I did the video. You can go up, you can scroll up to see the video that I made, that we're waiting on a key psychological level. Key psychological levels are just so powerful, guys. They are very, 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 very powerful. If you guys pay very good attention to the psychological level, you will see the very big power in psychological level. So this was our first trade that we took. You can see the screenshot on the screen when I call this trade out, right? Okay, so what just basically happened at this point was price came to this psychological level, then started bouncing away, right? So we got into the trade when we are inside the box. I got out on this trade somewhere around this point, around 2.8%. That was when I got out, right? Okay, so even if I didn't close this trade, it ended up being eating TP, but I got out around this point, right? And on the second day, we can see same thing, right? Price pull all the way from this point to this key psychological level. I said it in the first video I made this week that I'm going to be looking for buys all through this week. I'm not going to be selling Gbpjpy. Price pull back. If you draw this one too, if you draw this Fibonacci 2 from here to this point too, you can see that price came back. The same thing we did here, the same thing we repeated here as well, right? Price comes back to this psychological level, got inside our golden box, and after getting to the golden box, we started seeing some bounce away. Then we got into the trade, right? All these trend lines you can see here are just extra confluence, right? They are just extra confluence. I'm really more concerned about psychological level, right? But trend lines will just help you to have extra confluence to whatever anything you're doing, and we had something like a bull flag around this point. If you guys can see it, we have something like a bull flag. Okay, so basically I don't trade bull flag or whatever anything alone. I trade them along with my strategy, which is the key psychological level. And as you can see, if you draw this box as well at this point here, this same box we have here, if you move your Fibonacci and have your golden box here, you can see that this week started bouncing away at this point too. We got into the trade as well, right, for a buy, right, making the third entry for the week, right? We caught 2.8 here, 3% at this point. This is 5.8, and of course we got into this one too, and price shot up, right? I closed partials at this point here, and you can also see it on the screen. I told my student to close partials just at this point here, and the reason why I said that was because we are approaching this key level here at this point, which is the daily level. If you guys can see, that was a daily level that has been rejected for a long period of time, right? So one or two things is going to happen here. Is either price breaks that zone, okay, is either price breaks this zone and continue up, or we have a little retracement to somewhere around this point, right, to somewhere around 150,000, this key psychological here, before this zone here, before price continue to bounce back up. But overall trend is uptrend, right? Overall trend is uptrend. So, and price has tested this bigger channel here just at this point here. We've seen price touches this bigger channel here, which is the daily channel here. So price will likely continue up, but of course retracement can happen before price continue to push up, right? So just immediately I got out of this trade here. I was very patient, and I was patient with my little positions that I had running. So what I did was, when the NFP news came out, right, because I know most of you guys knows that I don't call trades out during NFP news. I always want to trade. Even if I'm trading, I always want to trade fundamentals in line with my strategy. I don't just want to, jump at any random place just to get into trades. No, I always want to wait at my key psychological level before getting into entry. Normally I'm supposed to sell USD card because the NFP was bad. I'm supposed to sell USD card, but I didn't get a very nice entry on USD card, and everything wasn't lining with what I wanted to see. I don't just want to get into random trades, so that was the reason I just decided to buy at this point. So when I saw that the price continued to push to the downside and NFP was bad, okay, I know automatically that if the US is bad, GBP will possibly go up, right? So that was the reason when I saw price pushing to this downside, I just added one position. Of course, I didn't call this trade out on the VIP because a risky trade. I didn't call it out on the VIP. I never had the intention of even getting into any trades today, which is Friday. But gracefully, I got into the trade and price was moving up. I have small position running at this point, and I have this trade here going on, right? Only on Gbpjpy alone this week, we had 2.8, we had 3, which is 5.8, and now we have this guy that's moved above 2%, right? That's moved above 2%. So definitely right now, even before this this trade close, we've already moved 7.8%. For those of my students that are risking 1%, 7.8% just this week on Gbpjpy. That was a very nice growth, right? So moving on to USD card, of course. So just at this point here, I explained this trade on my previous video, why I got into the trade, and also I made analysis to you guys when you should get into the trade, right? So price pushed to the upside, right? What I was supposed to do was I was expecting price to reject this key psychological level, which I so much anticipated for price to push to the downside. I got in around this candle here when the candle was rejecting very strongly. This move that moved from here to this up here, I'm not sure the move is up to 5 minutes. It's a very drastic movement from down here all the way to this upside here. I didn't quickly re-strategize and get into the trade very fast just around this point, because now we can see that price is rejecting this key psychological level here. I'm supposed to get into this trade, so that was how we lost 1% on USD card on Monday. So I think this was on Tuesday or Wednesday when we got into this trade, right? We got into buy on this trade after we saw that price came to this key psychological level and closes start bouncing away, right? Okay, now that we see that price start bouncing away, I got into a buy on this trade, and this trade moves 2% already. This trade move over 2% already, but as you know, we always target 1 to 3 on the group, right? I always tell them not to close, because that is very important. I always tell my student not to close any trade, not to even modify any trade, not until it moves 1 to 2. And there's a reason for that. The reason why I always suggest that is because of their psychology. When you keep moving trade or you keep closing trade early, it will keep affecting your psychology. So I always tell them not to close trade, not until the price has moved 1 to 2. Right? So me personally on this trade too, I didn't close any trade. I didn't even book any partial on this trade. I was just patient waiting, and I was patiently waiting just at this point here. But one thing I did was I moved my stop loss to break even. I said that on the group too. You can see I posted it and I told them to move their stop to break even, right? Unfortunately guys, price just plummet to the downside, and of course we should have gotten entry somewhere around this point here, but for some reason I didn't get into sales, right? That was how we lost 1% on USD card for this week, right? Moving on to Euro AUD. We on Monday, okay, we got into this trade after I made analysis and I posted it to you guys that price is going to reverse from this box. If you still want to know or you want to confirm if I posted this analysis, you can go back to the video I posted on Monday. You will see the same thing. I told you guys before anything happens, I explained to you guys what I'm looking for and what I want to see. So as you guys can see, when price got to this key psychological level and start bouncing away, I got into the trade. But one thing I think we did that was wrong about this trade was our stop loss was too tight, right? Our stop loss was too tight. and because our stop loss was too tight, I never thought the price would come back to touch this point here, because after we had this touch here, I was expecting price to make a little retracement to this point here, and after price make a little retracement to this point, I was expecting price to continue to the downside. But instead, okay, price moved down a little bit, moved 1 to 2 on this trade as well. But one thing that happened is we didn't move our stop to break even on this trade, right? We just, we left, our stop loss where it is, okay, right? The reason is because this candle, when it closes very close to this point, so we can easily get pinned out. That was the reason I never, told them to move their stop loss. And picking up, right, I posted it, you can see that on the screen too. I just saw the price, pin us out and immediately plummet to the downside. That was crazy, guys. That was very, very crazy. Moving on to Tuesday, the same thing. I made analysis about this as well and I posted it, right? So now we can see price rejecting this key psychology. Price got to this key psychological level, break it, right? Fail to get to this key psychological level here at this point. After I saw this big, candle pushing to the downside, I knew that price was going to continue to the downside. So I got into sales on this trade, pushing my stop loss just above this point, right? And as you can see, we made 3% profit on this trade, right, for this week. And ever since, I did not call any trades out on Euro AUD. Okay, this happens, I caught this move as well because price comes to this key psychological level. I love London and New York session, I don't like Asian session and all that. So I told my student not to always trade on Asia session. So it won't be nice for me to call trades out during Asia session for my students, and if the trade goes bad, they will come back and say you told us not to take trades during Asia session and you took the trade and we lost the trade. So I don't want something like that, so I just take the trade and I just forget about it, right? I risk just 0.5%. I didn't risk 1% on this trade, I risked 0.5% on this trade and I just keep it that way, right? So generally on the VIP, we're able to get 2% on Euro AUD for this week, right? For this week, but me personally, I got more than that, right? But for this week, we're able to get 2% on Euro AUD, and on Gbpjpy, I said we were able to get 7.8%, right? Right now, this one hasn't closed yet. 9.8% on the VIP this week. So if you're taking my forex fund or you're taking any challenge, right, and you take every single trade I called out this week, of course you would have passed your challenge, right? I've teach this system and I always go back to check on my student. Do you understand every single thing I've said? I was just teaching, and it's just a very great pleasure, having those people on the VIP and being able to teach people. I've spent close to 2 years to develop, and I was able to teach people, and they end up liking it, and they end up turning up nicely and say the strategy is good. I'm really, really happy. Gracefully, 1 month has passed already. It has been going nicely. Just 2 months, right? Just 2 months remaining, guys. So if you're still interested in learning how to trade and how to trade this my system, the system that can give you 9.8 in a week, if you're still interested to learn, you can of course DM me, right? DM me, let's talk so we can have a Zoom call. Then I will break down and explain every single thing, right, to you. I'm currently on a challenge right now. I'm trying to grow a $10 to $84 because I'm planning to buy a 10k my forex fund challenge, right, with $10, and we are trying as much as possible to grow that very, very fast. This week the account has grown very, very nicely, which I'm not going to be disclosing here, because within next week we are going to be pushing out the episode 2 for you guys, and as well many more things coming your way. So thank you for being part of the family. Thank you for being in the gang. Thank you for watching this video to the end, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now, guys.